as well. And so we're looking at a very holistic program. On Monday, I know that we are going to have quite the media turnout at our board meeting. And what I have said to others is, what do you want the portrayal of Taft to be at that board meeting? That's something that you will need to decide. We will keep it as an orderly board meeting because we have a lot of business to attend to at that board meeting as well. We don't want this to dominate the entire meeting, but I can just tell you, as someone who is new to the community, not that I hadn't been here before, I've been here plenty of times before. And I had somebody email me and say, well, you know, you don't live there, so you really don't understand. I spend all of my waking hours pretty much out here, with the exception of weekends, and not all of those weekends, because some of those I'm out here as well. So I understand this community, I do. But it really doesn't matter which community it is. Our kids' safety is number one, and I'll hold to that no matter what. So we really need to, I think, as a community, make sure that that statement is loud and clear, that Taft values its children above everything else, and above its a football game, above its image, above everything else. Because I've been also accused of damaging the image of Taft. I'd do it again. I would do this again, because we cannot allow our kids to be hurt and for others to remain silent. We cannot, and we have to change that. There are this morning, as I was getting ready, they were talking to the commissioner of the NFL because they removed Ray Rice. Why didn't they remove him initially?
Yeah, they got so much flack over that.
Yeah. And yet we're getting flack for the other, you know, for taking some decisive action based on the information that we had at that given moment. Somebody had a question.
Yeah.
Kathy.
Go ahead. Okay. Do you plan expulsion hearings at the board meeting Monday night? Related to this incident?
More than likely, yes.
Okay.
Those are closed. We are talking about minors, and Doug, if I can just say, these are our kids, all of them, every single one, including the ones that were expelled.
Yeah.
And we have a responsibility to all of them. We can either ostracize them, as has been done with the social media, or we can bring them back into the fold and value them, because you know what, they were good kids before this happened, and they're good kids after this happened. And we're going to continue to educate them and work through this, because I don't want them stigmatized by this. We're doing no better than we did 100 years ago. So we do have a plan for them as well. Because we do want to reintegrate them and make sure that they are valued, and that this is something that they learn from, and not something that haunts them for the rest of their lives. Yes.
Question: are you working in conjunction with the elementary schools, because it didn't start the freshman year?
Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, we haven't gotten there yet, but yes, we will be. Both Lincoln and actually Taft High have safe school ambassadors, and that's been very, very successful at Lincoln. We've had a harder time with that at Taft High, and it's that code of silence. It's that code of silence that just doesn't allow students, they don't feel like they can intervene and intervene safely. And I'm not telling anybody intervene in absolutely everything that you see. There's different ways to intervene. And sometimes it's not safe because you're going to get hurt. And there's other times that you can diffuse the situation. Just sometimes a distraction can diffuse the situation, and so that's what we're talking about. And I had a question over here. I don't remember who was gonna ask that.
Well,
Yes, Michael.
It's kind of a question of, you're new, principal's new, the athletic director's new, and I wonder how this plays into people accepting your leadership
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what has happened, because what has happened is probably part of the culture of the high school.
Yes.
And the introduction of all these new personalities, and you getting calls of people saying, well, you're not from here, you don't know.
Exactly.
How does that
Exactly.
play into that?
I
And
think
how
it's
do you-
I
and then
think it is a factor.
How do you, I suppose that, I suspect it is, but also, how do you respond to those parents who were so bitterly opposed to what you did?
I think anybody in my shoes would have made the same decision, because if not, they don't deserve to step on any campus, period. If your primary concern is not the safety of students, you don't belong there. So I don't care who comes in, they should have made the same decision. They should have made the same decision, because if you're not looking out for the safety of students first, how can I teach you if you don't feel safe where you're sitting or where you're walking at? How can I teach you? So I would say to them, it doesn't matter who's sitting in my chair. They should have been making the same decision. If they're worth, their job, if they are worthy of that position, then they should have been making that same decision. And I will say, Taft is changing. I have heard from so many people about, I've brought so much change to Taft. I didn't bring all of that. That was already here. And I said to our staff, our faculty on Monday, when I met with them, is, when a young man walked in on our campus with a gun, Taft changed forever, and not just Taft, but every other school changed. That wasn't our choice, and if it had been my choice, there's a lot of great things that have been there, but we can't have them anymore because society has changed. And actually, our new dean said, the thing that's happening is that we have a mentality of what the community is, and he held up his cell phone and he said, but our students don't, because they are connected to the entire world, and there are things happening in the world that they are connected to. And so, we need to adapt and make sure that it's not Taft High. I will go on record. Taft High is the safest school. It is the safest school. If you haven't been to Taft High lately, there's no graffiti. You will rarely hear any foul language. Not that you don't hear it, because again, they're youth and they're learning. Rarely do we have fights. We have very few suspensions, very few expulsions. It is a very friendly and safe environment.
Yeah, I'll back that up. All you have to do is listen to a scan or listen to Kern County Sheriff's Department
Yes.
after school on a
Yes.
Friday night. I mean, for Wasco, it's 2, 3, 4 fights is nothing,
And that's what we've said to people is, we won't have, somebody said to me, we haven't even had a fight, and I said, be quiet because you're gonna jinx us, and it's gonna happen, but it's not, that's not what we have, but that's not what the world knows right now.
Well, I know the pizza man, you have to check in at Checkpoint Charlie. now,
Oh,
the
yeah.
front door, which we have no problem with.
I know.
But Blanca, I do not envy the position that you're in right now. I think it's almost, my wife's been telling me what people have been